ways to reduce your, fuel and loss and energy conservation, effective running, operational excellence, then highest reliability. That itself will give you the highest amount of energy saving from the plant which is already available with me. So 20 to 30%, if not more, can be saved from operating plant itself. So first, which is available should be controlled. So that's my one of the way to, running the plant with highest level of efficiency. The second part, to gear up with the, business in the future, I would say low footprint. I mean, we are into everything like bit of hydrogens, green hydrogen, renewable energy, and in that way we are going for some met some strategies using natural gas in all our plant, which is already implemented most of my plant, making the entire power supply from not only just from the captive power plant which already we have, we are taking it from the grid. That arrangement is there because tomorrow grid maybe will be we will be able to take the renewable energy, and these are the two major strategies, and the efficiency increase, and besides, which is just not maybe the core business of the refinery, which is your 2G ethanol. We come and it's already there. 12% ethanol ABMS is already there in the process, and 20% target government. Once government is given, we have to meet that. So we are looking into that 2G ethanol, and another ethanol productions we have already done it. That is 3G ethanol by utilizing our carbon dioxide emissions from our hydrogen unit, converting it into it can be reduced by that. So that's also one of the economy we are doing. And beside the other big areas where we are venturing into is producing CBG. You know that CBG is now one of the alternative sources of hydrogen. So CBG can convert it a bit of green hydrogen because it's a green. If I replace CBG with from natural to the natural gas circuit, put it there, I can get the advantage of hydrogen too. So these are few strategies Indian Oil is currently doing, and many more in the hand. We are in the swapping of the batteries. Then hugely we are in the battery business too. So in almost to reduce the footprint, we are in almost in all areas. But now to see how economically which path we have to really look take forward for our company's business more economically. That is to be seen into, and it will be the future time. It cannot come immediately. It will take some time, and I'm sure we'll find a better way and the best way to implement the right path of the renewable energies or energy transitions. Thank you.
You are now beginning to start up one of your expansion, and we hope the reduction in the slide which Mr. Henke showed in the morning, we hoped that the Vizag refinery is one of those dots. Yes? So I'm sure you have exciting times ahead as well. In this, you can briefly touch upon any specificities of the project, and also since there will be some new technologies, do you face any challenges in the workforce that you have talent, particularly in the sector of the units that you would operate?
Talent force, all of us should be proud. India is a talent exporter for the entire refining industry. You go to any part of the world, you will find Indians in that refinery. The best in the refineries, so-called best refineries, are in US and Canada. You will see Indians working there. The entire Gulf, all of us know, all our colleagues are there in the Gulf. So I don't think there is a resource crunch in industry at all. Even take the technology, I'll definitely know that many of our friends and colleagues are there all over the world. So talent is definitely there with us, especially in refining. But you may have to reskill as new concepts and techniques comes, you may have to reskill them to a small extent. But a word of caution, when new areas come like say biological processes, electrolysis, maybe process intensification, then probably we should have a reskilling done of our own workforce. You may not get a sufficient number of subject matter expert. Probably with one or two we should reskill our own person. But as a crunch, I don't think we have any crunch. We will be able to make it. Even petrochemicals, there may be some shortages, but definitely we will be able to reskill and get. We ourselves are in a expansion mode into all these new areas of energy, and we do go through these challenges of getting people and placing them. So,
in terms of business models, business models evolve as well. And it's also a case of taking account of different influencing factors that impact your decision making. You go back a number of years, carbon intensity was not a decision making factor within a project. CO2 was not a decision making factor within your projects. But now we're actually seeing these as being recognised factors within the decision-making process, and to help you evaluate the project competitiveness that you look at within your industries, within your own companies on that. Also, not just in terms of profitability, but also in terms of new technologies, risk aversion, etc. there. So in terms of new business models, I don't think there's necessarily new business models. I think there's new influencing factors or new factors to consider as part of that. And if I may, I'd like to touch on, you did mention magic bullets, silver bullets on that side. So as I some notes on that. Magic bullets, I would suggest there's no one magic bullet, which was mentioned before earlier on that. You look at CO2 capture. Well, CO2 capture, you have chemical solvents, you've got physical solvents, you've got PSAs, you've got membranes, you've got adsorbents, you've got cryogenics, etc. there. You look at, sustainable aviation fuel was mentioned as well. You've got multiple routes to that, whether it be the fats, oils, greases, whether it be the biomass, whether it be ethanol, whether it be methanol, for example, also coming from CO2. And then you've got the clean hydrogen perspective on that. Now, one of the things, the option of transportation fuels versus, I'll suggest on that, these are all areas that we have been working on very successfully on that. You mentioned earlier about the recognition of our end-to-end support. And one of the things that was mentioned by one of my fellow panelists here was, who had heard of sustainable aviation fuel 5 years? Well, at Honeywell UOP, we were licensing this technology more than 15 years ago. That's one of the things that we really look at, is how can we provide solutions to the problem
to bring benefit. So I move on now to Mr. Tolman for you to maybe touch upon a little bit of carbon capture and utilization. We said only CCS, but would you also be able to throw some light upon the utilization part of carbon? Because definitely when we have a mature carbon pricing mechanism, maybe market driven, maybe policy driven, these are the solutions which actually would find place.
In terms of carbon capture, we heard this morning that that is more expensive than other ways of reducing carbon emissions. So, like I said earlier, we've been focusing on other ways to reduce the CO2 emissions in the first place as the first step. But we also understand that carbon capture will become necessary. So we've been working on that as well. There are many ways of doing it. KBR, we've been talking to many partners, if you will, to be able to offer that technology. We're actually collaborating with the gentleman down there on the end with a moving bed type absorber to reduce the capital intensity of the absorption column in a carbon capture unit. Within KBR, we offer not just steam cracking technology, but we offer other olefins production technologies, including a catalytic cracking called KCOT. We have propane dehydrogenation. What I feel like it's easier to implement carbon capture on processes like that because you have one regenerator and one source of flue gas coming off of that regenerator. So you can apply a carbon capture there, as opposed to a steam cracker where you have a number of cracking furnaces. So you have to collect the flue gas from all of them together and put a carbon unit or put individual carbon units on each furnace, and it's a more capital intensive thing. But it will be coming, and I'm aware of at least one or two ITBs that are going to be floated for projects in Asia where carbon capture will be part of the design. So it is coming, and we're looking at ways to implement. Now, in terms of sequestration, some parts of the world you can do that easily, other parts of the world you cannot. So one of the things that we've been looking at is converting captured CO2 to something like methanol, which is a product you can sell. I mentioned our catalytic cracking technology called KCOT, and in KCOT we actually have experience cracking feeds with oxygenates in them. So we can design a catalytic olefins unit to crack, say, up to 20-25% methanol or ethanol as part of the feed diet.
Cost capital, but it is really hard to find. So what is your view in terms of looking at large-scale projects, dovetailing them with sustainable goals, with carbon capture? How do you blend the two? How would you like it to be blended? And how do you foresee the future in terms of the two pushing investments forward? And also your final word.
Definitely it's becoming a big challenge, and today for our all mega project, when we are going to the market and we are looking for money, the first and foremost question is asked: what are your plan? Where is your ESG plan? What are your greening plan? And in your project, how they are woven together. And it is amazing to see, many times many of the suggestions are coming from them that, these are things are being done, and have you tried this one? And in fact, last time when we had a detailed discussion, we came to know many interesting feature had come, and which we requested our licensor whether these are the possibility.
I was a little confused in the previous thing, but now I'm not confused, after hearing all that. First thing, regulatory. Our Prime Minister is very clear. 2070, India will be net neutral. So, just keep that in mind, number one. Number two, we have to go and save the world, as just been told that, the world has to be there. The third thing, which I'm very sure, is the talent. I have 500, the best talent on India sitting here. So now what we should do? The future. I go back to my little old days when, in 1998, we were importing petrol and diesel. You all remember. They were Russian. As a SDM, I used to issue slips. Today, with all your effort, we are the largest exporter of petroleum products. Finally, and we are improving. We are not talking about energy efficiency. We are not talking about, reliability. We are not, this all done. You have all have achieved. Solomon will certainly give you, whatever you improve, you will certainly be in some quarter 2 or 3. That's their job. But we have improved substantially, and we will be improving. So that job, more or less, done. What next? We should not let any other industries take over us. We should not let any other industry take over. There are many players in renewable. There are many players who say that they are good in hydrogen, they are good in ammonia, they are good in, biofuels. Are we not good? Can we not upgrade ourselves? Why should we let any renewable company take over? Can we not make solar panels easiest? If you can run a sophisticated refinery, FCC, and all that, can't you make panels easiest? Can't we make this electrolyzer? It's not difficult. Let's get into this. I'm saying that you are good. You have got money. We will certainly arrange money. There is no dearth of money for green. So let's get into renewable in full go. Let not any other company. We talk about diversification.
The electric switched over to the completely electric heaters. Is it a proven references are there in the world.
An electrically heated single tube furnace as early as 1992. Now, it was a test facility, it wasn't a production facility, but we actually implemented that decades ago. And so now we've been looking at commercial scale furnace, which is a lot bigger challenge, right? And so we've been looking at different ways, direct versus indirect. So we've been working with our electrical engineering team, our furnace mechanical team, our process engineers to try to come up with a couple of different solutions that we may be able to take forward.
When we talk of Atmanirbharta, to import petrochemicals is also anti-self-reliance. So we believe the easiest route to petrochemical today is going from either the conventional crude to petrochemicals that we are doing or the crude to petrochemicals, which is likely to come in the future. So instead of depending on import of petrochemicals, we would be in the least self-reliant on the. There is a huge value chain which is available for us, and each of our panelists here and the ones in the audience also are looking at investments there. The second point that I would like to make is that we are seeing a transition in the space of transportation mobility itself. Almost 65% of our gasoline goes to the two-wheeler and the three-wheeler segment, which is very quickly electrifying. And that is going to give room for availability of that stream of the refinery to actually conversion to petrochemical. And we see huge opportunity of projects to take shape from that. Diesel is a question mark, and it will in times to come. And we have technologies. We are looking at some of the cracker technologies which are looking at VGOs and Kero streams and diesel streams also to crack. If we have, one should also see the kind of investments which are coming in the country because of that, the kind of Atmanirbharta, when we talk of, we are also talking of Atmanirbharta of supply of equipments.
Last word from going from gold to diamond, I don't think we can surpass anything beyond that. And with that positive note, and in her capacity as moderator of this session, may I request Ms. Shukla to kindly do the honors of presenting. Ms. Shukla, Mr. S. Bharatan, Mr. Prasad Panikar. May I invite Mr. Sanjay Khanna. May I invite Mr. Richard Mathers. Mr. Michael J. Tallman. And may I invite Mr. Jean-Luc Nuss. And I request him to kindly present the memento to Ms. Vartika. Thank you. With this, we conclude our panel.